Hey, what's up you guys? This is Rob from the Gay Guy Plays, and today on the rundown, winter is coming, and it's covering everything in white stuff, when we take a look at Frost. So the devs are at it again with a mechanical upgrade to one of the classic frames on our roster. With Frost's previous incarnations falling a bit short as compared to some of their newer releases, it was about time for an overhaul to ensure that he scaled better than ever. Now with a substantial increase to control and a few quality of life tweaks, I've never been this excited to start snowballing. Now, you can pick up Frost's blueprint in the market for 25,000 credits, while the rest of his required components can be found off of Lieutenant Lech Krill on the X the Assassination mission on Ceres. However, if you're just too cool to get your hands dirty, you can always pick him up in the market pre-built along with a catalyst and a Warframe slot for 375 plat. Now, looking at Frost's base stats, he does fall on the slower yet tanky side, with an above average shield total as well as a fairly substantial amount of armor. This makes him great for rage builds, especially since he can block out incoming projectiles with Snow Globe. In that same vein, Frost's passive gives him a chance to freeze enemies that strike him in melee combat. So, Frost's first ability is Freeze. He launches a semen-like projectile at his foes, dealing 300 points of damage upon impact and freezing them in place for 15 seconds at max rank. Upon impact, your projectile will freeze terrain, slowing enemies caught in the ice patch, and cause splash damage to any enemies within that small area of effect. This is a great way to lock down priority targets, neutralizing the threat and giving you a chance to take them down. However, to be completely honest with you, this projectile can still be a bit finicky, as its flight time can make it a pain to hit your targets at longer distances. However, the fact that it now causes a slowing patch and deals some splash damage makes it a little bit less punishing to miss. Frost's second ability, Ice Wave, deals 700 points of damage at max rank and applies a slow to all enemies caught in a large cone. This is a super simple ability, and there's not much to say about this one other than the fact that while the damage won't scale too well into late game, the area of effect on this is great for slowing groups of enemies. Just keep in mind that the wave fans out, meaning that its width increases the further out it goes. Frost's next ability is Snow Globe. He creates a big ball of ice that temporarily freezes and ejects all enemies within the area of effect. Allies inside his balls are protected from incoming projectiles, while any enemies that enter are slowed by 67%. At max rank, his balls absorb 3,500 points of damage and inherit his armor rating to help with mitigation. In addition, his balls are invulnerable for 4 seconds, converting all incoming damage into bonus health for the globe. Now there are several things to note. Friendly fire does not contribute to bonus health within the first 4 seconds. Allies outside the globe are unable to shoot into the globe. However, some Warframe powers will penetrate. You can only have a maximum of 4 globes out at once, while casting additional balls will consume the oldest. Casting a globe inside the existing globe will reset the 4-second timer and assimilate the HP of the previous instance. Lastly, you can also cast Freeze on them, causing your balls to burst in a big white explosion, dealing 150 points of damage and ragdolling enemies caught in the blast. Avalanche is Frost's fourth and final ability. After covering the battlefield in white, Frost emits a fast-moving wave that freezes all enemies within the area. Once the freeze reaches its maximum AoE, it deals 1,500 points of damage at max rank. Any enemies killed by Avalanche will explode, dealing approximately 400 points of splash damage and a small area of effect, while enemies who survive are left frozen for 8 seconds with their armor reduced by 60%. Now, I think this is actually pretty awesome, as any surviving enemies are not only disabled, but they're also debuffed and take additional splash damage, making them even easier to pick off. And while this isn't endgame damage, the overall freeze duration can disable a group of enemies for a significant amount of time. So all in all, I think that the most recent update really gave Frost a significant boost in usability. For me, what it all really boils down to are the small things. The fact that you can extend the freeze duration on both Freeze and Avalanche, allowing you to mod for crowd control when broad damage just isn't cutting it. The ability to shatter your snow globes in case they're preventing you from ranged combat, and the way Ice Wave fans out so you can hit more enemies with a slow. It's all about these little details that just make him more enjoyable to play, and allows him more relevance in late game scenarios. However, even with these changes, his gameplay hasn't become unfamiliar. You're still going to want to keep an eye out for that 4-second invulnerability timer when layering snow globes, and you're still going to want to drop the strategic avalanche to lock down enemies. It's just that everything you do now is more effective, because let's face it, when you're flinging around this much white stuff, it sure as hell better leave you feeling satisfied. So thank you all for watching another episode of The Rundown. If you missed it, be sure to check out the previous episode on Equinox, as well as my quick draw on another cluster of balls, the Coal Star. Now, don't forget to do all the things that I ask you to do at the end of every one of these, and as always, stay tuned as I paint the town white, here at A Gay Guy Plays. Yep, so splattery I don't even need a punchline.